Tuesday mornings in their Upper West Side brownstone were always a well-oiled machine. Sarah navigated the kitchen, a breakfast ninja, the scent of coffee and bacon thick in the air. From the dining room, Emily and Ethan's laughter bounced off the walls, a soundtrack to the everyday morning rush. David, her husband, walked in, Wall Street crisp in his white shirt and navy tie, hair slicked back, radiating the dependability Sarah had always leaned on. "Morning, sweetheart," he greeted, a warm smile, arm around her waist, a peck on her cheek. "Smells amazing, as usual." Sarah smiled back, a practiced reflex, but beneath the surface, guilt gnawed. "Morning, hun," she replied, her voice bright, but missing its usual ease. "Breakfast in 5. David headed to the dining table, playfully mussing Ethan's hair, kissing Emily's head buried in a book. "School ready, kids?" David asked, his usual cheer bouncing off the walls. "Yep," Ethan yelled, all boyish energy, while Emily just nodded, lost in her pages. Sarah carefully plated eggs, bacon, toast, each item precise, perfect. David's favorite mug sat in its spot. Watching her family, her heart should have been full, but behind the practiced smile, peace was a distant shore. For 7 months, her life had been a fractured thing. On one side, David, her rock, her husband of 13 years. On the other, Chris, the man who had set fire to a passion she thought long dead. The affair was her escape, a dangerous, exhilarating secret that both thrilled and terrified her. David's eyes caught hers, a flicker of concern creasing his brow. "Everything okay?" he asked, brow furrowed. Snapping back to the present, Sarah forced another smile. "Yeah, just thinking about my to-do list," she lied, smooth as silk. "Dinner will be ready when you get home." David, satisfied, nodded, finished his breakfast, glanced at his Rolex. "Gotta run, crazy day ahead." He leaned in, kissed her lips, quick, tender. "See you tonight." "Have a good day, darling," she replied, voice steady, a fortress against the storm inside. She watched him gather his things, kiss the kids, and leave. As his black SUV pulled away, the morning air in the kitchen shifted. The smile vanished. Her pulse quickened. She glanced at the clock. Chris would be here in hours. Her heart hammered, a mix of dread and electric anticipation. She knew the stakes, the risks, but the pull of this double life was irresistible. The thrill, a temporary reprieve from the carefully constructed image she maintained. Taking a deep breath, she pushed down the guilt, a pro at compartmentalizing. Family first, always. Home to manage, roles to play. Perfect wife, perfect mother. But as soon as David was gone, the mask slipped. The real Sarah, fractured and torn, emerged. She moved through the kitchen, cleaning with sharp, precise movements, as if order in the kitchen could quell the chaos in her soul. Heart racing, she grabbed her phone, typed a quick text to Chris. "He's gone." His reply was instant. 15 minutes. Her breath hitched, phone back on the counter, the weight of her choices pressing down. Soon, she'd step into that other life, shed the skin of devoted wife and mother. Chris waited across town, in the loft they'd made their secret haven, a fleeting moment of reckless freedom before returning to the perfect life, slowly crumbling at the edges. Sarah's pulse hammered as she pulled up to the sleek building downtown. She needed a moment, a breath. Rushed into the bathroom, hands trembling, stared at her reflection. Lipstick, hair, desperate attempt to regain control. What started as a spark, a flicker of excitement in the mundane, had become a wildfire. The affair, a breath of fresh air, a secret that had rekindled something vital in her. But with the thrill came a constant undercurrent of anxiety, a tight knot in her stomach. Playing with fire, she knew it, but she hadn't even tried to stop. The buzzer rang, adrenaline surged. She hurried to the door, heart pounding a frantic rhythm of fear and anticipation. Chris stood there, in the doorway, eyes burning with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. He stepped inside, no words, just raw tension. Pulled her into his arms, lips crashing together in a hungry kiss. "Missed you," he breathed against her mouth, hands already moving, possessive. "Missed you too," she whispered back, leading him to the bedroom, no hesitation. In those stolen hours, the city outside ceased to exist. They were lost in each other, a whirlwind of passion and secrecy. Time blurred, each moment more reckless, more intoxicating. The longer she walked this tightrope between two lives, the more addicted she became to the danger. She tossed her phone aside, trying to block out David, block out everything. Only Chris existed, their passion, their escape. Evening crept in, unnoticed. Deeper and deeper into the affair they plunged, unaware that the inevitable storm was already gathering. Hours melted away in talk, laughter, a closeness that felt more real than anything in her carefully constructed world. But beneath the surface, the weight of deception, a dark undertow threatening to pull everything under. Lying tangled in sheets, Sarah's phone vibrated. Message from David. "Just wanted to remind you how much I love you. Can't wait for dinner tonight." Guilt, a cold wave, washed over her. She pushed it down, a practiced maneuver. Fingers trembling slightly, she typed back, "Love you too. Dinner will be ready." Across town, in his glass and steel office, David sat motionless, staring at his computer screen. Live feed from the surveillance cameras he'd installed in their new penthouse, the one they were supposed to move into next month. Initially, security. Now, a daily ritual of surveillance. Sarah didn't know. David had been watching for days. Today, the camera in the bedroom, crystal clear. Sarah and Chris. The scene unfolded. David's breath hitched, vision blurred, a toxic mix of rage and pain. Knuckles white, gripping the edge of his desk, unable to look away. Sarah and Chris, intertwined on the bed, naked, entwined. The sight, a physical blow, tearing him apart. Nausea, heartbreak, waves crashing over him. Every agonizing detail played out, magnified on the screen. Sarah's touches on Chris's body, too familiar, too intimate. Each moment, a knife twisting deeper. Then Sarah's phone vibrated. David froze, watching as she calmly picked it up, typed a reply. He read the message on his own phone, intercepted, mirrored. "Love you too. Dinner will be ready." His heart shattered. Cruel irony, a punch to the gut. Lying in another man's arms, sending him words of love. Any shred of trust, obliterated. Betrayal, clear, cutting deeper than he ever imagined. Storm of emotions, unbearable. Rage, devastation, betrayal, colliding, exploding. David kept watching, saw them laugh, faces flushed, pleasure radiating off them. He couldn't take it. Pushed back from his desk, grabbed his keys, headed for the door. Plan forming, cold, calculated. Revenge taking shape. Fingers flying across his phone, a message to Sarah. Each word chosen, sharp, deliberate, venom dripping. He hit send. Fleeting, bitter satisfaction. Revenge, a way to strike back at the gaping wound Sarah had ripped open. Her phone buzzed. Indifferent glance at first, then her eyes widened, calm facade shattering. Shock, disbelief, face paling. The ground seemed to drop away. Michael's words, brutal, direct. "Do you miss me? Does your lover give you more?" Quick, nervous glance at Chris. His contented expression shifted to confusion. "What is it?" he asked, concern creeping into his voice. Sarah didn't answer. Shoved him away, abruptly, panic rising, choking her, heart pounding, a frantic drumbeat. "I need to go, now," she stammered, voice trembling. Chris's confusion turned to worry. "Sarah, what's going on?" he insisted. No time for explanations. "David knows everything," she blurted, words laced with terror. Grabbed her purse, coat, rushed to the door, barely hearing Chris's desperate calls behind her. The drive home, a blur of fear and regret. Every block stretched on endlessly. Mind swirling, a vortex of what-ifs, terror of what was to come. Every red light, deliberate torture, lengthening the agony. Mentally rehearsing explanations, apologies. But deep down, she knew. Broken, irreparable, pulled up to the brownstone. Dread washed over her. Home, once comfort, now a sinister shadow. Hands trembling, fumbled with keys, unlocked the door. Eerie silence inside. Air thick, tense, oppressive absence. Footsteps echoed, pulse quickening with each step. Home, once warm, now cold, alien. Panic engulfed her. No sign of David. The kids, gone. Family photos, vanished. Empty spaces on the walls. Closets, drawers, open, contents missing. Hurriedly packed, a hasty exit. Kitchen table, a single sheet of paper. Shiver ran down her spine. Approached, breath catching. David's handwriting, neat, deliberate, each word, a punch. Hope he was worth it. Homeless. You have no idea what's coming. Sarah's legs gave out. Read the note again, mind refusing to process. Reality crashed down. A freight train. David hadn't just left. He'd taken everything. Life in ruins. Weight of betrayal. Tidal wave, drowning her in guilt, hopelessness. Collapsed to the floor, clutching the note, hands shaking uncontrollably. House. Once love and laughter, now a prison of her own making. Tears streamed down her face. Consequences. Brutal. Final. David's revenge. Complete. Sarah, alone, surrounded by wreckage. Everything she knew crumbled to dust. Realization, crushing. David had taken everything. Kids, savings, documents, hollowed out. House, symbol of safety, now empty shell. Every room, echoing loss. Reality, brutal force, leaving her surrounded by emptiness, mirroring her choices. Nothing left but cold, harsh truth. Chris arrived, rushed over after Sarah's panicked call. Found her on the kitchen floor, clutching David's note. His words of comfort, weak, inadequate against the all-consuming grief. Sat beside her, hand on her trembling shoulder. Sarah, I'm here. We'll get through this. Sarah lifted her head, tear-streaked face. Sorrow, confusion. Get through what? She asked, voice barely audible, trembling with pain. David's gone, Chris. He took everything. Kids, life, everything we built. What do I do now? Words broke, weight of loss. Chris, sympathetic, helpless, no words to ease the overwhelming pain. We'll figure something out, Sarah, he murmured, trying to sound reassuring. We'll find a way. But Sarah, beyond reach of reassurances, betrayal, consequences, hung heavy, impact, far greater than she'd imagined, certainty shattered, leaving her vulnerable, drowning in regret. David, no longer rage-fueled, something colder, more dangerous, driven by calculated determination. Sarah's betrayal ignited darkness in him, unextinguished. Anger evolved into meticulously crafted plan. Tracy and Chris would pay. Lives would fall apart, like his. David had been watching, collecting evidence. Affair documented, every move tracked. Breakup. Now time for action. Chaos not enough. Wanted their lives destroyed. Hired a private investigator, more incriminating info. Just the beginning. Thirst for revenge, extreme. Reached out to someone from his past. Whispered name in dark corners. Problem solver. Kyle. Exactly what David needed. Final move. Dimly lit restaurant. Secluded. Discreet. Meeting arranged. Precision. No trace. Kyle, mid-40s, cold, steely gaze. Reputation matched. Listened intently, David laying out intentions. Needs to be flawless, David said, voice disturbingly calm. No traces, no noise. Kyle, unreadable, brief nod. Understood. I'll handle it cleanly. Businesslike tone. Trust me. David slid an envelope across the table. Cash down payment. Serious. Kyle accepted, silent, calculating. Expertise, discretion, precision. What David needed. Plan, hitch-free. Kyle moved forward, preparations. David, cold satisfaction. Pain, morphed into hunger for control. Revenge, only way to regain control. Life spiraled out of control after Sarah's betrayal. Watched from distance, Kyle executing. Precision. No mistakes. Not just revenge. Restoring justice. Reclaiming power. Kyle carried out tasks. David, background, manipulating. Master pulling strings. Plan progressing. Ruthless precision. Merciless ending. Mirroring David's inner struggle. Relentless drive for revenge. Sarah and Chris, sinking deeper into fear. Refuge. Chris's loft. Shielding themselves from looming storm. David's note. Ominous shadow. Terror. Watched. Paranoia. Simple tasks. Torturous. Brave faces. Anxiety gnawing. Daily routines. Heavy. Strained. Desperate escape. Restaurant. Change of scenery. Brief respite from horror. Relax. Reconnect. Forget worries. On way home. Empty streets. Quiet sidewalks. Heightened unease. Kyle, under David's orders. Positioned. Waiting. Patient predator. Tracked them. Perfect moment to strike. Kyle's plan, flawless, meticulously calculated. Precision. Done this before. No room for error. Tracy and Chris unlocked apartment door. Kyle sprang, lightning fast, shadow gliding through night, smooth, deadly. Attack, seconds. Mission complete. Cold, ruthless precision. Maximum damage, minimal resistance. Aftermath, orchestrated chaos. Robbery gone wrong. Items scattered. Frantic search for valuables. Illusion enhanced. Police arrived next morning. Devastation. Tracy and Chris. Living room. Lives cut short. Violent struggle. Apartment ransacked. Belongings strewn. Police baffled. Forced entry. No robbery motive. Burglary spiraled out of control. Investigation began. Standard procedures. Case grew complicated. Surveillance footage. Useless. Witnesses. Nothing. Days into weeks. Investigation dead end. Momentum lost. Few clues. Chaotic crime scene. Detectives struggled. Apartment sealed. Grim monument. Unsolved mystery. Deaths of Tracy and Chris. Cold case. Unanswered questions. David watched fallout. Grim satisfaction. Emotional detachment. Destruction of Sarah and Chris's lives. Culmination. Revenge plotted. Thirst for retribution fulfilled. Payback delivered. Trail of confusion. Unanswered questions. Cold testament to betrayal's consequences. Dimly lit office, David sat. Weight of actions, news of Sarah and Chris's deaths, headlines, newspapers, TV. David read articles, cold satisfaction, handiwork recognized, robbery gone wrong, yet revenge achieved, no peace, victory hollow, vengeance too high a cost. Life, once love and trust, shattered. Children, victims of Sarah's betrayal, only constant now. Bitter reminder of loss. Relationship, once strong, crumbling, fragile, strained. Lies, deceit, tore family apart. Lingered in every conversation. Dark shadow over remnants of bond. David's attempts to rebuild, confusion, weariness. Too young to grasp complexity. Old enough to feel emotional storm. Carefree joy replaced by awkward silences, tense dialogues. Family grappling with fallout. Navigating wreckage. Months followed, David immersed in work. Escape, coping mechanism, painful memories haunted. Office, refuge, tasks, deadlines. Distancing from chaos at home. Mounting pressure, David committed to children. School events, homework, restoring normalcy. Stable environment, children heal. Love united family. Pain, scars. David hoped for healing. Uncertain future, determined to face it. Strength, resolve. New foundation, family. Lessons from painful past. Years passed. Deaths of Sarah and Chris. Sharpness dulled. Deep pain lingered. Days, steady rhythm. Grief, bearable. Reflected on life. Decisions haunted. Always present. Anger, cold pursuit of revenge. Distant, disturbingly close. Questioned choices. Different path. Less destructive. Peace without extreme measures. Sting of betrayal faded. Indelible mark on soul. Fiery rage, quieter, corrosive regret. Another way? Better outcome? Revenge? Justified then? Satisfying? High cost? Deaths of Sarah and Chris. Years filled with heartache. David, children found a way to live. Scars visible, reminders of journey. Learn to move forward. Strength, hope. David's determination, loving home, cornerstone of new beginning. Days filled with rituals, habits. Stability after upheaval. Evenings, dinner table. Conversations, school, work, life. Silence replaced. Kitchen, tension, warmth, connection. David cooked dinner nightly. Commitment to family. Unity. Stove, chopping, stirring. Rare peace. Cooking sounds, food aroma, anchored him. Glanced at clock. Children home soon. Laughter, chatter, renewed purpose. Dinner, special time. Stories, laughs, days' events. David rebuilt trust. Slow process. Patience, consistency. Shared meal, small connection, testament to determination. Set table, prepared food. Marveled at how far they'd come. Lingering echoes, past pain, regret. No longer defined path. Hope, new possibilities, bloomed. David's commitment, love, stability, bearing fruit, inner strength, resilience. Home, joyful greetings, bright smiles. Comfort to his soul. Welcomed them, open arms, presence, peace, joy, once unattainable. Dinner table, renewal, connection. Shared experiences, overcoming difficulties, overshadowed burdens of past. Journey far from over, scars, reminders of battles, power to create future, hope, unity. Gathered for dinner, wave of optimism, weathered storm, stronger. Calm settled in, new chapter, love, optimism, brighter days. David realized, time to date. Children needed mother figure. He needed someone, no betrayal. Goal in mind, David moved forward.